It's been a while since I've done I guess you could say a political-esque type of video. And if I do really do one, it's really coming at it from a different angle than it's being strictly political, because I really don't like making political videos. I like doing the kind of commentaries that I do. But this one had to be talked about, and it was sent to me by one of my followers on Twitter. I can't remember exactly who, but if they are listening, shout out to you. So we know who these two individuals are. This is Mr. Touchy-Feely, Jim Crow Joe Biden, number 46, and one of my early bed-bucking entries, Jimmy Clyburn. The one with the chainsaw voice, the one I said that looks like I forgot what I compared him to, but y'all remember. But as y'all know, they were pushing, and I don't know when this video is going to be up, before or after this happens, but you know they were pushing to have a black woman be the new Supreme Court justice, and you know, making her the first black woman to be in that seat. And we all know it's nothing but a bunch of symbolism at the end of the day, because that's really all it is. But what attracted me to want to talk about this was more than just that, but it was some words that Jimmy Clyburn said that made me put some things into perspective. Mainly things I already knew, but you know, sometimes you need to hear things from the horse's mouth. So Jimmy Clyburn back in 2020 basically said that, you know, Joe Biden, you know, they said that he had a low moment, and the only way I guess to rise from that moment was to put a black woman in a position of the Supreme Court justice. And I said, interesting choice of words. So basically what you're telling me is, in order to get the voter turnout or voter interest, cater to the voters in a symbolic way, nothing that'll really gain them any tangible of any kind, but just put someone there and they'll just come out and do it. To the black women out there who I would say overwhelmingly vote Democrat, I am urging you not to fall for this BS, because it's pretty obvious that they're playing a game and they're trying to make you look like a fool. Some of you already are, but they're trying to make more of you be fools. But don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe is all I'm saying. They really don't care about you. They just want the vote. And this is their way of going about it. Now, this was back in 2020 when he made that announcement. And here we are 2 years later in 2022, and look at what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from the LA Times, and it's going to put some more context behind what he said. At Joe Biden's lowest moment in the 2020 presidential campaign, South Carolina Rep. James Clyburn came to him with a suggestion. He should pledge to put a black woman on the Supreme Court for the first time. After some cajoling, Biden made the promise at a Democratic debate, a move Clyburn credits with turning out the black support that helped Biden score a resounding victory in the South Carolina primary and ultimately win the White House, and still having gained nothing from it. 2 years later, the hope for a vacancy on the court has arrived with the retirement of Justice Stephen Breyer. Biden is standing by his pledge, and Clyburn, the highest ranking black member of Congress, has another ask. I'm sure he feels so wonderful that he, you know, that he got the brightest, most buttery biscuit that day. But let's see what else he's asking, or begging for, I should say. Judge Michelle Childs has everything I think it takes to be great, Clyburn said. As the lobbying begins over filling the open court seat, Clyburn is harnessing his history with Biden and his stature as the number 3 House Democrat to make a forceful case for his preferred choice, U.S. District Judge J. Michelle Childs, a jurist from his native South Carolina. Now, this woman, Professor Black Truth talked about in his video. He actually talked about all of them. He did a breakdown and he had mentioned her. He said he really didn't have anything much to say about her, but the fact that she's being endorsed by Jimmy Clyburn is what gave him the side eye. And I have to agree, because this guy right here is not to be trusted. So you got to really take all of that into consideration, that this woman is being endorsed by someone like Jimmy Clyburn. It's a campaign he's making in public and in private, helping elevate Childs to an emerging short list of black women who could soon make history. In addition to Childs, early discussions about a successor, including California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger, as well as Ketanji Brown Jackson, a former Breyer clerk who is now in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Biden is also looking at U.S. District Court Judge Wilhelmina Wright from Minnesota and Melissa Murray, a New York University law professor who is an expert in family law and reproductive rights justice. For Biden, the court opening is a chance to show black voters that he has not forgotten his promises to them, particularly after voting rights legislation failed this month in the Senate. This does nothing because, like I tell you, this right here that they're doing, putting a black woman in the Supreme Court justice, black people as a collective didn't ask for that. This is what Jimmy Clyburn asked for. That whole thing about Joe Biden said, if you got my back, I got yours. But let's keep in mind, he also said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, people seem to forget that. And I don't know how, because he said it out of his mouth. This was not a hearsay thing. And he didn't. And this wasn't even a Freudian slip. He said it with some sternness in his tone when he was talking to, was it Charlemagne, I believe, that was interviewing him when he said that. I said black people all around America should have took that as an insult, at least the ones that were supporting him. He said Thursday that having a black woman on the court is long overdue. And I'm going to be honest, was he going to even do this if Jimmy Clyburn did not come to him with that quote unquote suggestion? I bet you if no one came to him and told him that to put a black woman in the Supreme Court justice, that he would not have done it on his own merit. And that he would announce his choice by the end of February. How ironic, at the end of Black History Month. See, more symbolism. Clyburn had a head start. He began making his case for Childs more than a year ago. In December 2020, just weeks after Biden won the White House, Clyburn said he wrote to the then president-elect advocating that Childs be promoted from South Carolina's federal trial bench to the D.C.'s appeals court. A seat on that court is often seen as a springboard for the Supreme Court nominees. Everybody says, well, that's the way you need to go to the Supreme Court, Clyburn said at the appellate level. I've never agreed to that, but I don't have to agree with all of the rules that I have to play by. Last month, Biden officially submitted Child's name for an open slot on the circuit order. Her Senate hearing had been expected this coming week, which would have given Childs a closely watched audition of sorts, but staffers said Friday that had been delayed. In an interview over recent days, Clyburn had argued that if Childs were nominated, she could win the backing of South Carolina's two Republican senators, Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, an enticing prospect for Biden, offering the possibility of a pick that could satisfy the party and also win bipartisan support. On Sunday, Graham, a former Senator Judiciary Committee chairman, highly praised Childs as a fair-minded, highly gifted jurist who would bring important perspectives to the high court if chosen. In the history of our country, we've only had 5 women serve and 2 African-American men. So let's make the court more like America, Graham told CBS. Face the nation, but qualifications have to be the biggest consideration. And as to Michelle Childs, I think she's qualified by every measure. A spokeswoman for Scott lauded Childs' respected reputation as a judge in South Carolina and said he looks forward to engaging with her if she is the nominee. Unlike most high court nominees, Childs isn't an Ivy League graduate or a former federal appellate clerk. The 55-year-old graduated from the University of South Carolina School of Law. She also holds a master's degree from the University Business School as well as a legal's master's from Duke. Clyburn, who often pushed for ethnic and educational diversity among Biden's cabinet picks, said he thought Childs' education outside the Ivy League, coupled with her upbringing in a single-parent household, would give the court an important perspective it is now missing. We run the risk of creating an elite society, Clyburn told reporters. We've got to recognize that people come from all walks of life, and we ought not dismiss anyone because of that. During years in private practice in Columbia, Childs became the first black female partner at one of the state's largest law firms, where she focused on employment and labor law. After several years as a state court judge, she was appointed to the federal trial bench. In 2014, before the Supreme Court ruled that gay couples had a right to marry nationwide, she ruled in favor of a gay couple seeking to have their District of Columbia marriage recognized in South Carolina. All of her experiences, Clyburn said, give Childs the ability to empathize. Just reading that alone lets me know what she would be pushing the most. Just reading that part. I could be reaching, but notice there was no hesitation to do that. See, we got a question. Where do these women stand? Because remember, I'm not jumping for joy for them. Remember, I just did a video talking about those judges down in Harris County, Texas. And I said I was not going to jump for joy for them until I saw something that was worth throwing a parade over. And after reading that article about those top 3, I reserve my excitement. I reserve my celebration, just like I'm reserving the celebration for this as well. Asked in a 2020 Q&A with her alma mater what advice she would give a young lawyer, Childs opined on the meaning of success, stressing the importance of becoming a person of courage and conviction. We all have a crucial role individually and collectively to be architects of society. She said, being successful is not just for the purpose of a place of comfort and satisfaction, but a place of responsibility and challenge. So there you have it. This does not move me. Them like saying, oh, we're going to put the first black woman in the Supreme Court. This does not move me like it does others who like, see, this is what I mean when I'm talking about when we have some black people out here who are satisfied with what we like to call nigger trinkets. This is the perfect example of that. This does not excite me. Like this, you want to know what excites me? The thought and the notion that they say or come out and say, black people, black Americans in particular, specifically, today is the day that we're cutting the check. That, and the fact that if they actually do it, don't just say it, but do it like Nike. If that actually did happen, that is what would move me. This symbolic stuff, this representation does not even make me flinch. It's like, okay, whatever. Next case. That's how I feel about that. And like I said, Jimmy Clyburn going up there and, you know, they said Joe Biden has low point. Notice they said his his lowest point. Why don't y'all just let that thing fall to the floor? Y'all always got to save someone who ain't going to try to save you. And you know he wouldn't save you. That's the thing. But you keep on saving him. And who better else to do it than this individual that you see on the right of the screen. With that being said, I'm going to end the video on that note. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you are new, make sure to hit that notification bell so to be notified every time I upload a new video or go live. And I will talk to you in the next one.